Welcome once again to The Lost Signals Discusses Games and Gaming Culture, a pretentious, philosophical, pedantic podcast where we focus on various aspects of video games as well as other issues and topics within gaming in general. Hello there, welcome back to Lost Signals Discusses Games and Gaming Culture. And as we referenced and promised previously when we did New Gen, so basically doing digital showcases for the summer. A bunch of them have been shown off from a number of various outlets, and basically kind of a recap, and certainly, like, as a caveat for myself, I will cover the things that I thought were interesting. I am Scott Thurlow. I'm here with Stephen Amosi.
Aloha.
And Jonathan Ian Manzer.
Yeah, last time we basically did PS5. This time we're doing Xbox One.
Yeah, like more or less, right? So basically recapping. So yeah. So with that, like, I'll delve into it. So like I said, there's basically 3 showcases that Xboxes just happened yesterday as a date of this recording. So maybe I'll work backwards. So given that, you know, we were waiting on information, some more stuff, they didn't really necessarily reveal a bunch about, like, the new gen, like, their systems. But what they did do is a bunch of games. So let's just lead off with that, if you guys don't mind. And if anything comes up, like, hit me up. So, of course, the big one everyone's looking forward to is Halo Infinite. They showed it off like that was their centerpiece. And, like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks fine. Looks, from what we can tell, like, open world, like, more like markers and stuff, like checkpoints. Like, it's not just, like, levels and missions. And it graphically, it looks pretty fucking solid. And, of course, Halo has and always, at least at this point, has been their centerpiece. Like, their killer app, at least, was for the 360 and so forth. So,
all right, I'm going to go completely off topic here for a second.
Going to derail me? Go ahead.
But BioShock Infinite, I liked it. But that was more of a philosophical thing.
Mm-hmm.
When games, I don't know what they mean by Halo Infinite, but
they're running out of fucking titles.
But Skyrim's and Bethesda's in general's attempt to make infinite gameplay didn't sit well for me because it seemed like a constant, like, retreading of past missions in a way. Mm-hmm. And I'm granted, I'm more of a PS guy than I am an Xbox guy, but when developers throw around terms like infinite gameplay, that is, maybe one day it'll be great, but so far I haven't been impressed by
that's the thing. Like, you want your game designers to design a fucking storyline for you, right? You don't want them to just, like, drop you in a sandbox and say, do whatever the hell you want. I mean, I don't know if that's what Halo is going to be by any means, but, like, Infinite,
by association with Infinite nowadays.
Infinite, like, says something that I don't necessarily want from a game, right? Like, just the word Infinite implies something that I don't necessarily want from a game. I want a game to tell me the experience that I'm going to have, like the same way when I go and read a novel or watch a movie.
Halo Finite to steal a joke from outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm saying, and the funny thing is, like, aside from, like, what it's known for, like, the big thing Halo's known for is multiplayer online. It was not confirmed. Like, they didn't say, like, they didn't focus on that
they
aspect at all. You would think so, for sure. But in the actual trailer, what they did show off yesterday at the showcase, it was just basically a teaser for, like, a single-player open world stuff, which that seems fine. But again, like, one of the hallmarks, of course, of Halo is online, you know, multi-gameplay.
Yeah. Although I have, like, their campaigns in the past. I haven't played the last, like, couple of them, but
I would be shocked, legitimately surprised if they didn't.
Certainly,
do it.
I think they're going to like they might,
especially since they're talking about dropping the paid subscription to online to multiplayer services.
And that's a perfect segue, because I wanted to mention that, like, leading up to the expo, to the showcase, they announced that they're winding down production on 2 current consoles out of the 4 they have been producing for this gen. So, I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong. They're winding it down, and then they're going to, like, assumingly, you know, what you would think is them putting the resources into doing the digital only version of next gen and like the hard disk version, right?
Right.
But they're discontinuing production lines on 2 of them out of the 4 that they currently make now. And again, makes sense, sure. Certainly, like again, Halo, it's a centerpiece, and it looks fine enough. Like, don't get me wrong, I probably will check it out depending like how it shakes down. But I'm just saying, like, everyone's waiting on that to like be revealed, and it looks good enough. It looks certainly fine.
This is a scoop, Scott. Are you getting the Xbox when it comes out?
So I was texting with our friend Mikey G last night about it because he's a big Xbox like fanboy, if you will.
Yeah, his box head.
Yeah, not to use it derogatorily, but he was, we were just like exchanging stuff, and he's like, "Did you see this and that?" So my plan is, yes, to get not the downgraded one, but whatever the digital only version of their. I really hate the way they're naming it. So like it's very confusing. Xbox Series S, Xbox Series 1S, like blah blah blah.
Is it Lockhart or something like that?
That's the code name, but they're not like when it releases to public. It won't be called that. The point is, to answer your question, Steve-O, I'm going to get the digital version, digital only Xbox, whatever it's going to be, Microsoft's console, with the Ultimate Game Pass, like with the Game Pass that has all the games on it. So therefore, I can any exclusives, because they have a lot of cool exclusives, which I'll get to.
So you're gonna get that and
a hard disk PS5. Yes,
I'm actually doing the same thing as well.
Yeah. Like that's my
bold
plan.
move.
Yeah, finally I will have both. So that way, that way I can cover both, and any exclusives for PS hard disk get. Like since Game Pass is, again, like I mentioned it on the next gen episode or new gen knowledge. Microsoft picked up a bunch of studios, which that means it entails they're going to be exclusive. So if it's part of their Game Pass, then boom, that's fine. I'll subscribe to it, no problem. That way I can have access to both. But mitigate the.
Scott's very rich now.
Yeah, I got some money came to me, so yeah. As I get older, like I said, in my old man age, I lived my childhood dream to get them both. Whatever. Yeah. So like, of course, Halo was the big one. Like it was like one of their centerpieces for it. But like, they have a lot of other stuff. For example, they announced a random, like, out of nowhere, a return of Fable. So if anyone likes that, like, and I did like Fable. Fable 2, I thought was like the best one. And like, say what you will about Peter Molyneux and like Lionhead Studios or Liongate, whatever it is. I think it's Lionhead. Doesn't exist.
Liongate's the film.
Right.
Yeah. What did you think about Fable 3 though?
It was okay.
Just watched my roommate bake pies for like hours on end. I never played it, but
yeah, Steve, it was fine. But
to be fair, I was into the Great British Bake Off, so I watched people bake pies for hours on end.
Tolerance for it. But yeah, I mean, like it's kind of surprising because everyone assumed it was like a dead IP for a while, and they're like, hey, guess what? It's coming back, and actually, it's going to be produced by the devs who did Forza Horizon, which is a big, also like first party title from them as well. It's a racing game, so I'm not as much into that stuff. But
new Forza coming out too, right?
Yeah. So like, yeah, yep, exactly. It is. So that was part of it. So like, yeah, admittedly, I'm not as much into those kinds of games, but it is coming out, and it has a big fan base and a loyal fan base, and it looks pretty good. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole frog. When I saw the fairy in the trailer for it, I said, "Hey, listen." Because it brought me back
Forza?
No, in the Fable.
Fable, yeah.
I'm like, oh, are they bringing Navi back?
Hey,
well,
look.
It wouldn't be Navi because Nintendo, but I know what you mean, and it's a similar thing. So yeah, I mean that was one of the big ones. Another one you guys might like. Did you guys play the original Psychonauts?
Yeah, I did.
You both did, or did you?
I played it recently, and unfortunately, times have changed so much.
That's fair.
That the platforming elements were prohibitive to me.
As much.
Yeah, like it was very frustrated by playing them. Because it wasn't rebooted at all. It was just kind of a direct port.
Just a port, yeah.
So
I remember liking it, but that was a long time ago. There were a lot of people, and that was a long time ago.
Sure. I mean, it was like an original Xbox game, I believe, like around that era. Yeah. And like, but it's it's Tim Schafer, it's Double Fine. So like, again, he's sort of a known auteur within the industry, and he has a lot of fan support behind him. So they showed it off, but it was. I had it on my list for a while. This is my own like personal list, that it was supposed to come out this year. So the trailer that was shown off at the showcase was Jack Black like doing a song, like singing along to it, or like singing like something relevant that matched the plot. But it, in fact, is not.
Jack Black was in another Double Fine.
Yeah, he was in Rock of Legends, or God,
whatever the hell that was
Legends
called.
something. Yeah, but all I'm saying is like he was there for it. Like they got him on for it, but the big news is that it's not in fact coming out until 2021. So like you'll have to wait a bit, a little bit for it.
It did look very good though.
But it looked cool, yeah.
Broken Age, was that what it was called?
No, Broken Age was a different
Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend.
Yes,
I played a little bit of Brutal Legend, and I was not particularly impressed by it.
I heard it wasn't that great.
It was okay, but again, like it was the middle of the a middling and also middle of the generation of that generation release. But all I'm saying is like it's cool they had him on for the showcase, like to do the trailer, but the big news is that it won't be till next year at the time of this recording. But yeah, I am interested in it, and you're right. But I see your point that if you didn't play Psychonauts when it first came out, I can see like it didn't age as well, and that's perfectly like understandable. But at the time, it was pretty fucking cool, and it did make an impact on games like it.
Oh, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else? So I don't think you guys played any of State of Decay.
Nope. But I know there's a third one coming out.
Yeah, I thought
I'm living through it now. So.
Sure. I thought the first one was pretty cool. Like it again was a later like tail end Xbox 360 gen game, and sort of out of nowhere, like from a pretty small indie studio. But I thought they did a good job. And then 2 was exclusive to Xbox One, so did not get to play it. But I was happy for them, excited for them that they kept going, that they got picked up. So 3 was announced. It's just like, hey, yeah, we're making a third one. It exists, and it's going to be again, available on the next gen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, good on you. I liked what they did with it, and I would be interested in checking it out. So I'm glad that it exists, I guess, as a way. So I'll tell you this one. You might just tell me why. Another one that was announced. It's from Don't Nod is the name of the studio. They made Life is Strange and also Vampire. So like it's basically more Life is Strange Vampire.
I love Vampire.
Yeah. It's more Life is Strange style, like chapters cut up and so forth. Like
is that the graphic novel one we saw?
Yeah.
That's sort of
yes.
I actually think
played Life is Strange, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's episodic and so forth like that. So chapter 1 or whatever the first chunk of it is going to be available August 27th of this year. So
I actually think you would. It seems up your alley, Steve-O.
Yeah.
I feel like Steve-O.
It's a kind of a dramatic piece that's stylized as a moving comic.
I got annoyed by Life is Strange, but I could see getting into something of that style that I really like the plot for.
Yeah, I mean it's different characters.
I actually preferred the. Before the storm, narratively to the regular one, but
that was the sequel.
Right? Here, no,
a prequel, I believe.
Prequel, whatever it was.
The pre-sequel.
It came out after.
Yes.
Yeah, but narratively was set in that. And so like, I mean, I thought that was cool. Like, I do like to support indie. Again, like I guess they're not indie anymore, or like they used to be, but under Microsoft's banner, making games like that in that vein, and that's cool. A couple other things. So let's see. I'll save this one for last. So they partnered. This is an interesting one. When Bungie split from Activision, Bungie still owns Destiny 2, or Destiny the IP, and it's a big deal. Like Destiny has a huge player base, and it's largely well liked and well supported, and they've been doing a good job with it.
So who owns it now?
So Bungie owns it like themselves. Like they've always like. They had some weird deal. Like the details have never been released publicly, Steve-O. I would love to know them. Like if we could ever figure them out. Originally, they had a deal with Activision, which Activision is also Activision Blizzard, and they are pretty scumbaggy, if you will, like in their practices. So Bungie was able to like whatever the details of the contract was. I think I might have mentioned this here and there on previous episodes. They're able to get out of it. So now they've partnered much more amicably with Microsoft just to bring Bungie to cross-platform. it will be available, for example, on Game Pass for next gen. Bungie still owns it; they're still supporting it, but they're partnering with Microsoft to bring it to their platforms, and I think that's a pretty cool, positive thing. Like, good on them. They still own their own stuff, but they're getting the support, or at least they're getting the partner for it. So that's cool. And then there's Warhammer. There's a couple of other exclusive deals that they have partnered. I call it, or what they said themselves, not that I'm calling it, partnered for exclusivity. Warhammer 40k Darktide, which is basically Vermintide, but Warhammer 40k setting versus standard Warhammer. And yeah, Fat Shark is the name of the studio, and that looks pretty cool too. Like, it's a Left 4 Dead clone, more or less. Still,
yeah, I wish it would do something different with those, like, not just like run out the same old thing again, but
I mean, like, the setting is cool, right? Like, I don't know, like, I guess I have an affinity for that stuff. Like, I liked Warhammer as a kid. Like, I grew up on it in a sense, so I support them again. Like, it looks really great. The trailer looks cool. I might play it solo and whatever, but I'm just saying, like, they're partnering with Microsoft to bring it to next gen, probably as a Game Pass supported and so forth. So yeah, I mean, that looks pretty good too. And there's one more. Sorry if I get back to my fucking notes.
Well, I can continue. Hellblade, the sequel to Hellblade is coming out.
Thank you. Good looks. Yeah, Hellblade 2, Senua's Sacrifice. And I was very impressed with the first Hellblade.
I never played the first one.
I highly recommend it. Anyone who's listening, like, I think it's a great
underrated
game.
Chris a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Like, it explores a lot of... It was one of my games of the year that year. So yeah, Ninja Theory, I think, is the name of the studio. Again, partnered with Microsoft for exclusivity, or at least to be released on Game Pass and so forth. And yeah, I'm down with that. I support it. Do it. Bang on. And this one for you, Steve, maybe. Stalker 2, which is a big cult favorite. The first Stalker, like, there's been so
When
many...
did the first Stalker come out?
Like 98. I want to say 98.
That's so long ago.
I want to bet 98 as you look it up. But
And they're finally coming. Oh, like, you know, we watched the fucking movie based off of the original book. So, like, this is a whole interesting history.
And the original game certainly channels that. But yeah, there's been so many, like, sort of like unofficial mods, unofficial sequels and stuff to Stalker, like Stalker : whatever.
Yeah.
But this one is like the official one from the original devs. Again, partner with Microsoft and for the new gen. And yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing.
All coming out of like a Russian novel from like the 50s, I want to say.
Yeah.
Called Roadside Picnic. If anybody has the chance to read that,
yep, and do check that out.
It's fucking awesome.
So here's the final one from the Xbox Showcase, at least of most interest to me, because it's Obsidian, and I love them as a developer. Always have. They've always done great stuff. They did, like, New Vegas, like many things before that, and even after. So they've been very, very busy. You got 3 things in the works. Number 1 is a thing called Grounded, which is basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as a co-op survival thing. It looks pretty cool. Like, yeah, you're making, like, you're surviving, like, being shrunken kids.
Do you get to ride the ants?
You absolutely do. Like, they have, like,
can you fucking, like, dangle a piece? What do they have? Like, oh damn it!
I think it's a piece of sugar or something. Is what you're thinking
not
of?
Sugar. It's like some kind of, like.
It's an Oreo.
Is it an Oreo? Yeah, it's some kind of cookie for sure. Maybe like whatever it is. It's like, yeah, it's some kind of cookie.
I would bet you could do that. But you hunt down insects, like hostile ones, and like make, like, armor and stuff, like crafts things out of their carapaces essentially. But it's supposed to be co-op as well, and like that looks really cool. They're also working on a thing called Avowed, which is definitely not Skyrim. Their next, like, big time, like, fantasy RPG.
I think because I know Bethesda was angry at them for the success of New Vegas versus the other Fallout IPs. I think this is them planting their flag, saying, Skyrim's your big hit. We can do it better.
Guess what? Yeah. I mean, and I like that. Again, I've always loved Obsidian. I think they have always generally been better than Bethesda, speaking of.
I shouldn't ascribe intention to people, but I hope that's the case, actually.
I have to interrupt because I'm sure people are screaming at the screen right now. It's an oatmeal cream cookie So, in Honey I Shrunk Kids. Anyway, go on.
Good clarification. But no, like I'm saying, like imagine that, like as a game, like you're a shrunken like teenager, like 12-year-old, and surviving your backyard while hunting insects and like crafting gear out of their.
You ever play the old Maxis ants?
No, I have not.
Basically, it's like you're from like SimCity, except you play an ant colony.
I remember that game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The lawnmower would come by and wipe out your entire troops on the ground.
Ooh, they haven't shown anything about lawnmower stuff. But I'm saying like that's it. I knew it was in the works anyways, like grounded that is like beforehand, but they showed it off more at the showcase.
Apropos of nothing. Yeah. Yes.
But so I was waiting for this one, the final one, as the game of the year that at least Ian and I voted, and a number of other kind of outlets like put it up there. So for Outer Worlds, they sort of hinted that they were doing DLC like earlier, like, oh, we're working on it. So it's official. It will be one of 2 DLCs, substantial ones. It's called Peril of Gorgon. It will be out September 9th. So it'll be out for all consoles, like anything it's already released for. It's like the tail end. Like after this, there'll probably be Microsoft exclusive, but because they released Outer Worlds on other consoles, it will be available.
New gen DLC?
No, I mean, in theory, but it also will be, like, they have to make it available for those who bought it already. So
I do want to say this, that the reason I'm getting the Xbox console is strictly for Obsidian. I think they're putting out the best RPGs nowadays. And I might play Valve.
I mean, other stuff too, Steve-O. Like
they're the one I'm looking forward to the most. Though, Lord knows what the Xbox will do to them. But
we'll see. I feel like they've been left alone. Like there's like, here's money. They basically want them to make their games as they would have made them anyways, but making exclusive to Microsoft. So
we'll see if they live up to that. But yeah,
so says EA as well.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, so all that stuff was like the bigger, like at least for me, the big announcements that I cared most about from the Xbox showcase from yesterday. So let's work backwards a little bit. The other, a bigger one that came out that was shown off about 2 weeks ago was the Ubisoft Forward. Now, yes, before I go on, Ubisoft is quite troubled with actual like legit things like going on, like abuse, sexual harassment. It's some hardcore stuff, and I don't wish like I'd be remiss if I didn't like address that just to mention it. And we're planning on doing like an actual expose, if you will, like about that very thing.
Also, Sucker Punch just Sucker Punch them at their own game.
Yes, that's true as well, for sure. So like, yes, I'm saying like, I cannot not mention that, but they did their showcase, and they specifically, of course, like neglected to mention or even address like the accusations and the stuff that's happened to them, like people resigning because of all this stuff. So I try to keep it a little bit more positive, just to focus on the games they did show off, like that I did care about. And there was not that many, so there were 2 things that I thought were lacking. A, they did not show off Gods and Monsters, which that was supposed to come out like early this year, early 2020, like February. Nothing at all about it. Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is, again, like a classical, like, again, say what you will about them. Beyond Good and Evil is such a great game and is so beloved. And they promised a sequel, and they actually showed off a trailer, probably like one of the recent, like last year at E3 or like a year before that. Nothing about that. So that was the disappointment, I think, on that front. But what they did show off that I, again, cared about was they gave the dates out for, for AC, speaking of AC, for AC Valhalla, the Viking, like the new Viking one. Like, it looks cool, it looks fine enough. Like, I'm probably going to get it. Yes, sure.
You know what, guys? You were late to the God of War party.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, like,
well, there's a joke going around that Ubisoft is now playing Ghost of Tsushima and taking notes about that.
It's the Japanese setting of AC that they never actually did that the fans wanted them to do. Well, like, I mean, I do like it's about, I think it's set in like 800 AD and so forth, like Vikings coming over to England, and like I happen to enjoy that part of history in real life, so like that's kind of the selling point. And yeah, like you guys cynically would say to me like you were gonna get that game anyways. Like, don't get me wrong, certainly I probably was.
I know for sure you're getting every AC game that ever comes out.
But I was going to check it out anyways, but at least that seems like a cool setting. And if it actually
See, the thing is, when they did Unity, I'm like, I'm going to get Unity because I love the French Revolution.
and then they ruined it.
I guess we should say for anybody who doesn't know what AC is, we're talking about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like that's the premise of it. And like, yes, you're right. To your point, Steve-O, I certainly was probably going to check it out no matter what. But at least like given the way like they've been doing the previous ones, it seems like decent, and I'm going to check it out.
On the bright side, there aren't that many historical figures from that era, so they're just not going to shove in people.
True. They can't like show like, hey, Leonardo da Vinci is here.
Yeah.
Hey, etc. Like,
I want them to do like Assassin's Creed like the 80s.
I mean,
like Michael Jackson shows up.
It'd be good like if like
He teaches you the moonwalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
or like Yuichi Chimit. If they flash forward, like they have sometimes they've done like present day stuff, and then of course like that's tangential to the historical stuff.
Sorry, not the newer ones. Because the newer ones are actually supposedly pretty good. But like for a while, it was just the Magic School Bus.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, certainly with Origins was the one set in Egypt. Like they sort of like they realized like they were being accused of that. Like okay, we got to stop doing that. So I feel
like those games could have been so much better than they seemingly. Granted, I never played any of them, but I watched them being played, and like I know a bunch about them, and like I feel like they could have been just so much better than they were. Had like good writers.
They definitely did not live to their potential, but again, I do enjoy them series. Like, and yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with that.
Sure.
But all I'm saying is like Valhalla does look pretty decent. Granted, and I have like a slight bias for the historical period that it happens to be set in, so that seems fine. But at least they gave you the date as well. And on top of that,
I saw a thing recently where they had an idea that the Templars are actually the good guys in the AC series because the Templars supposedly run the corporations that make all these pro-assassin video games. It's actually the assassins that are the bad guys, and that they actually own the studios to make the Templars.
Well, that was like
they make the Templars do what they want.
That's why I think, to that point, that's why I always say like Black Flag was the best, because the meta framework, like the modern day stuff, was you working for ostensibly an XP of Ubisoft, like making the game that to get people into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's a funny like side thing, like theory, and so like tied into that was Watch Dogs Legion, which I like the first. Well, I enjoyed the second Watch Dogs. First one was okay, but this one looks interesting. It's set in London. It's basically post-Brexit London. In a literally Orwellian like atmosphere, and like
Bojo is king.
Yeah. So like from the impressions though, like people seem to like it. Like Ubisoft gave out like select premier YouTubers and reviewers. Like they gave them out a demo, like a 4 or 5 hour demo.
I've heard good things from it.
This is post coronavirus Boris Johnson.
Well, maybe so. So again, Steve, yeah. Watch Dogs Legion at least was in development well before all this stuff. And
yeah, right.
It wasn't even the virus delay. It just got pushed back like even before all that. So they finally showed it off and like, okay, sure. Like, but it does look pretty solid.
But Boris Johnson got sick. He got coronavirus. He got fucking real sick. So
I hope
Did you not see V for Vendetta? They have the entire thing about the disease.
Yeah, I hope they incorporate that.
I did. Oh, excuse me. I did catch that one.
Yeah, it'd be funny to make a reference to it. But, like, I mean, it looks pretty solid. Like, I was always, again, no matter what I think about their practices, which are, I do not think positively about them, but the games, I'm torn between, like, liking their products and hating their practices.
Some of the games are pretty good.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, Legion itself, at least, looks pretty good. But the big news, at least for me, and the funny thing is, like, a lot of the stuff, like, leaked. Like, a bunch of things they're going to show off at Ubisoft, like, leaked, like, a week before they actually showed it off. So people were like, oh, we already know. Whatever. Like, it was funny to me. Like, it didn't really make a difference one way or another, but, like, it was there. And, like, I just thought it was a funny thing. So I mentioned you guys, we did a happy hour, like, the week before we were planning this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Far Cry 6, the trailer for it. It's just a trailer. It's going to be, the date is, like, well into 2021. But Giancarlo Esposito, who is famous for playing Gus, and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and so forth. He is like the villain, the face of the villain for this game, and that's pretty big time.
He's a great villain.
Yeah, I mean the trailer looked great. Of course, it's all
pre-rendered. It did. It looked fantastic.
It's all pre-rendered, whatever. But like, it's definitely him, and like, of course, he has he does amazing acting for it. And so like I probably like I think Far Cry is like my favorite franchise that Ubisoft makes. So that's why I was more excited for it. And like yeah, it was really cool, and hopefully it'll be pretty excellent. I'm looking forward to it. It's basically Cuba, like Cuba XP like is a setting for it.
It's not Cuba, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. But like, but it's Cuba. But yeah, like, but I mean, that's kind of a cool angle. I'm interested in that. And again, like, I like the Far Cry gameplay better
so
than
it's supposed to be Fidel or Raul.
Is he? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Oh, you said
like
Cuba.
XP of it?
So I wonder if it's Raul Castro or Fidel Castro.
I mean, they haven't said, like, they're not going to say, but like, it is something like that though. But it does look cool, and of course, like, I was excited about that, and I'm going to check it out because it is my favorite franchise from Ubi. Like, I will definitely cop to that.
Yeah.
Even beyond AC and beyond Watch Dogs. So yeah, I mean that was cool stuff. Like, sure, it was fine, but that was like again the major stuff that I thought was interesting. Yes, sir.
But I was gonna say, well, yeah, I don't want to cut you off while you're winding down. I was gonna say, but what are you really jonesing to talk about?
What I am jonesing to talk about is related to your background, and yeah, Devolver Digital has become the best, at least how shall I say? They piss take themselves and the industry, and specifically expos like this. And this is the third year in a row in which they just killed it. They have their own meta narrative, and they like the actress they have. Like, she is so good. Like, it's a fake. Like, of course, like she's like senior VP of Synergy, like whatever. Like some fake, like stupid, like bullshit sounding corporate name. And it's an ongoing narrative. Like, if you watch the previous ones, they keep the narrative of that going. Like, there's people in the background. Like, the guy who actually writes it, like the actual marketing director for Devolver, he like writes himself in as like some like low grade guy. Like, he's always berated in the actual showcase.
That's right. That's my kind of humor right there.
I know you love it.
Nice.
It's so good. Like, he's always like being yelled at. And he's like, all right, I'm on it. But like, actually, he's directing all the stuff. He's writing it. He's like in it himself. So yeah, so it's a big piss take, and it's the best thing. And it's straight up. It's been digital anyways. Even before the pandemic, they just released it digital again as a like fuck you to the in-person stuff. So it's only like it's about 40 minutes, and like on top of everything I just said, they
We'll
list.
link it.
Yeah, they just legit show off all the games, what they have, and what the dates are and trailers for it. Like, it's a service for the fans. Here's what you actually want to know. Here's what we've got. Here's the trailers for it, and here's what our plan is. And it's so fucking good. So what the actual games they showed off was, and even they piss take themselves, like I said, because for example, they showed off the Serious Sam trailer, which was already previously like they gave out the date for August, at least for PC and Stadia. And then they're like they made a joke of it, like, yeah, we already showed that, like, yeah, we like, again, it was incorporated into it, right? So it's so good. Shadow Warrior 3, that's 2021. I know our friend Bear is a big fan of the Shadow Warrior franchise. Like, it's first person, like, it's over the top, like, not quite Ghost of Tsushima. Like, it's more like slapstick stuff. You know, the guy's name is Lo Wang, or Wang Lo is like the name of the character. Like,
It's definitely Lo
yeah,
Wang.
yeah, right. So like, take that as it is, but also it's some cool first person stuff. Serious Sam 4, like I said, like, I like the other Serious Sams. Like, if you know what you're getting into, it's also like old school, almost Doom stuff, Steve-O, or
Yeah.
I think kind of like not quite Wolfenstein, but Doom-ish, like just you versus like 1,000 crazy enemies with.
I haven't played it, but I've watched you play some Serious Sam before, and like it just looks like
and it's
crazy ass shit. And,
it's
like,
a lot of fun. Like, you just like there's like 10 kinds of guns with different kinds of blah blah blah. Like, so it's a known franchise, and Devolver picked it up and are going to publish it. Couple other things. Let's see, what are the big things they did? So Carrion, you guys have heard of this? Or did I mention to you?
Yeah.
This game called Carrion. It actually just came out yesterday as it was recording. Unfortunately, not for PS, but for Xbox and for PC. So
And Switch.
yes, that's right. You're right. Thank you, Steve. Yes,
Fucking only thing
Almost-
it didn't come out for was PS.
almost every console but PS. But the premise is, you're the Thing monster from The Thing, the movie. You're like an amorphous blob that you go around like it's almost Metrovania actually.
Right.
You go around like maps and stuff like 2D.
If
like,
you're an amorphous blob, wouldn't it be more in line with the blob?
kind of, yes.
All right.
But you have teeth and tentacles, and you can like morph into other things. Like you can like take over the human enemies, like make them fight each other and stuff. But you're this big like red blob of tentacles, and the pixel art looks so incredible. And it's just like good. You doing up right now? All right.
There it is.
Do I keep speaking? Yeah. Like that's like the If you're watching this, that's like the box art.
I love this right here though. On their website, or we're looking at their website right now, and like this game's the second link is propaganda. Is propaganda.
Yeah, by which they mean marketing, of course. But like, yeah, I mean, again, they're brilliant. Like, they're very mentally aware. They piss take themselves. They piss take the whole thing. But the game itself just came out yesterday, garnering pretty good reviews. And like, yeah, the premise of it, I would love to be able to get it on the console that I have, but it's supposed to be really cool. And the pixel art, old school 16-bit style pixel art looks great. It's fucking solid. So they showed up again. They had a little skit about that. They had like the carrion monster like being interviewed, like like shit like that.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was fucking solid. And is there anything else? What did I miss? Oh yeah. So yes. So at the very end, Stevo, they closed they're like, oh, we have to close with something good. Like of course all digital expos close with something amazing.
Sure.
They're like, oh shit. Like the premise is like the skit was like, oh crap, we're out of stuff. What do we got? Let's just randomly release a game. They're like, okay, cool. So it's called the Devolverland Expo. It was freely available. It still is now on Steam. I'm not sure if it's on other stuff, but for sure they just dropped it on Steam, like surreptitiously to coincide with it. It's a first-person, like it's again a takedown of you in a derelict, like a closed-down E3, going through like a first-person thing. Like, you're shooting like marketing people and stuff. You like, and you can watch the trailers of all the games in the fucking game. Like it's brilliant.
Awesome.
Like it's so great. Again, it's right up their alley. It's the thing they always should and have done. And again, they do such a service to their fans, and like they give like a wink and a nod to the meta stuff, and like and they're just really cool about it. So yeah, that was like their last thing. So anyone listening to it, like yeah, Stevo's background, check it out. It should be freely available. It should be pretty cool. Like it's a short enough experience, but again, a takedown, a piss take of the, E3 showcase in quotes experience, right?
Absolutely.
Done by Devolver Digital, and from now on, like they have just cemented themselves, I think, as the kings of the digital showcase, which is what this episode is all about, ostensibly. Just being awesome about it, telling you exactly what you want to know about games, but having funny skits and just giving a middle finger to all like the stuffy suits, like the actual like bigger AAA stuff, just studios who like try to do it seriously with a straight face. So yeah, can't really say enough about it, but just check it out. It's amazing. And that's the stuff that came out. I would say like, I think we're going to do maybe one more like wrap up. Cause for example, Jeff Keighley, he showed up, actually he was a guest he showed up as a cameo as well in Devolver stuff, but he's doing his own digital showcase or summer showcase later on.
Who is it nowadays, though?
Yeah, it's a thing, but like
I'm doing a showcase.
I don't mind it. Like I kind of like am cool with that because it breaks it up. First of all, yeah, like maybe that means like you have to like check out like 5 or 6 like different things, but since it's not under like this big like stupid like corporate stuffy banner of E3 or things like it, I'm pretty okay with it. So all I'm saying is like there's going to be a couple more like at least that one is going to be the biggest one. There's probably going to be a couple more indie showcases like here and there between now and the end of the summer. But those are the 3 ones like that are the biggest ones that did happen between right after we did Next Gen, as I mentioned. Like I was like, there's going to be more. And yeah, so like, and the big games, at least the ones that are interested to me about that came out of them. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like this fun episode, just sort of like a midsummer recap, if you will, of the showcases that did happen.
And we barely have to do any research for it. So
exactly. Like mostly like, other sites did my research for me, for sure. You're absolutely right about that. Like it was kind of convenient. But yeah, I mean, I will say, if nothing else, do check out. It's on their YouTube channel. It's on even probably on the website. Check out Devolver's stream, like their showcase. Like it's all free. Like it's freely available. And
we'll put it up. We'll put up a link.
I'll put a link to it. Like 40 minutes of your time it's well worth it. And go back and like watch the previous ones because it makes even more sense if you do watch them and like they keep the thing going. And the way they show off their games is pretty highly entertaining and very funny. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I feel like I dominated this episode.
Go wrap.
Sorry, but that's what there is to say about it. So, with that, I've been Scott Thurlow. I've been here with my Devolver Expo buddy, Stephen Amosi.
Cheers. Gonna put on my own showcase later on. Watch out for it.
And my VP of Synergy, Jonathan Ian Manzer.
We did have a Lost Signals expo, but it turned out like Fire Festival. So
That is true. And
we gave everybody a fucking cheese sandwich.
Yes. And that's what you get when you come to our expo. So look forward to that. But I think that will do it. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. We shall see you next time. Good night.
Later.
Thank you for joining the Lost Signals Games and Gaming Culture. Check us out on YouTube and iTunes for the shows and more, and on Facebook and Twitter for updates.